So in the Mediterranean, we have only technical measures, as they called, which is some legal measures as the mesh size, closing areas, and all this discussion, which seems not to be very effective for the moment. Let's start a little bit. This is Fisheries Research Institute. It's part of the Hellenic Agricultural Organization. It's overseen by the Ministry of Rural Development and Food, and is located in Nea Peramos, Kavala, operational since 1995, focusing on key research areas such as fisheries, aquatic environment, fishery exploitation, and aquaculture. The most important project we have at FRI is, of course, the National Fisheries Data Collection Program, where I serve as scientific coordinator. The project has been funded since 2001 by EU and national sources, and since 2003, Greece has implemented the program through the Director General for Fisheries of the Ministry of Rural Development and Food, with the support of our institute, Fisheries Research Institute, the Agricultural Economic Research Institute in Athens, and the Institute of Marine Biological Resources and Inland Waters of HCMR. DCF is a structured approach designed to collect, manage, and analyze data related to the fishery sector. It helps to ensure that Greece, as other European countries, meet their obligations under EU regulations and international agreements for sustainable fisheries management. It involves various activities with a primary emphasis on gathering data related to the biological parameter of species, as well as environmental and socioeconomic data, which are crucial for fisheries management. Here you can see the different DCF actions that goes from biological data, commercial fisheries, recreational fisheries, marine biological resources, diadromous species, and research surveys at sea, and also the other big part, which are socioeconomic data on fisheries and aquaculture and processing units. These data are gathered from monitoring both professional and recreational fisheries that contribute to the country's fisheries management. The collection of data on species biological parameters is a key focus for the DCF. These data include information on age, sexual maturity, and more. To achieve this, the two institutes gather about 18,000 specimens from commercial fisheries. We buy or we collect those specimens, which are then analyzed by the scientific staff. The findings are substantially submitted to the EU for evaluating the status of each stock. Only for length measurements, we collect about 320,000 measurements by individuals in 2023. These are measurements that only recorded. We don't collect these specimens. We collect, however, the 18,000. In these photos, you can see some of the FRI team. 60 people are employed only at our institute, conducting sampling on board, processing samples in the laboratory, and analyzing the data. The same is for HCMR in Athens and Crete, the same amount of people and the same work. Here you can see some of the results. We can see indicative data on the average length of certain species as recorded in commercial fishing since 1996. As you can see, a decrease of the average length in several species. Another action involves collecting data on fishing activity, including fishing effort on the activity levels of fishing vessels and landings, particularly for the coastal fishing fleet. These elements are crucial for assessing fish stocks. And you can see it is in all three geographical areas, Aegean, Ionian, and Cretan, and the 12 sub-regions that we have in Greece on a monthly basis. Here, we can observe that how is the distribution of total fish landings across the country, underscoring the significance of the Thracian Sea, which represents 26% of the total production of Greece. The Thermaikos Gulf, which is close, is about 21%. That means that the northern Aegean is the heart, is truly the heart of fishing in Greece. Most of the 50% of catches have done in northern Greece. Even in 2021, which was a COVID year, the Thracian Sea recorded the highest catch with 21% of the country. Another important action of DCF, which however is new, it started at 2017 as a pilot study, is the data collection for recreational fisheries. The research objectives of this action is to estimate the number of recreational fisheries by fishing category, whether from shore, by boat, or through underwater fishing, because we don't have any fishing license, recreational fishing license in Greece, to monitor their activity and to gather data on their catches. This is executed in 3 stages, with the third stage being the most crucial. During this stage, field sampling is conducted in order to record catches by our scientific collaborators who are trained in species identification. Why I say this? We have a lot of applications or systems that collect data. However, in the Mediterranean, it's not easy for recreational fishermen to identify the species. In Northern Europe, there are 6, 7 species that you have to recognize or target only one species. In the Mediterranean, 60 or 70 species are involved in the recreational fishery. So fishers know what is the species, but they think they know in most of the cases. So we need specific collaborators that go on site, recognize the fish, and also measure it correctly. Because you know how recreational fishers think about the fish they catch. They think exactly that they are big. So, and some results of this action of recreational fishing. We have the highest participation, of course, is from the coast, 42%. From the boat is 27%, and spear fishing is 8 to 10%. On average, each angler goes fishing 16 days per year, catches about 13 kilograms of fish, and spends around of 180 euros per year. In northern Greece, you can see it right in the bottom, we have another unusual phenomenon, where a significant proportion of fishers come from a neighboring country. And currently, because in Greece there is no requirement for a license, so we have visitors that come from other countries to fish free in Greece. And it's incredible, 42% in North Greece is not local fishermen. And this, of course, you can never know this information from an application. This only can be found if you go on site and have questionnaires. In these photos, we can see the mobile application. We have a mobile application, but it doesn't work, for self-reporting data, which has been developed by FRI. Also, various types of fishing gears used by recreational fishers, and also some of the gifts we provide the participants of the survey. It's the only way to convince people to give us information, giving small gifts. At least, it has such a success. Another interesting action of our DCF involves collecting data of the European eel, a species that is now rapidly declining in Europe, with only 7% of its original population remaining. This species is remarkable for its complex life cycle, as it spawns in the Sargasso Sea in the Caribbean, 9,000 miles away. The young eels that migrate back to the regions where their parents originated. We are the first country in the Eastern Mediterranean to have tagged 12 eels with satellite transmitters in order to track them during the migratory journey. From the 12, only one remained till today, because they are all dead till now, and the final one is at about southern of Sicily. Let's see where we will find the rest of the journey. Another action is recording the impacts of fishing on the marine ecosystem. It's also a new action starting from 2019, and it's mandatory now for the European countries to be incorporated in the program. This task involves documenting vulnerable species of fish, mammals, reptiles, and birds that are impacted by commercial fishing. And here are some results from this action, and we can see some of the vulnerable species of fish, mammals, reptiles, and birds that are impacted by different categories of commercial fishing. You can see from long lines, trawlers, gill nets, and trammel nets. In addition to monitoring commercial and recreational fishing, a critical action is marine research, which is conducted in 2 primary ways. The first method is MEDITS, International Bottom Trawl Survey in the Mediterranean. An initiative that has been...
2 λεπτά.
active since 1996, involving simultaneous research actors across European Mediterranean countries using specialized nets. Again, the FRI team, let's go on because we don't have time, and let's go to see this, the MEDIAS, Mediterranean International Acoustic Survey. It's a pan-Mediterranean acoustic survey conducted by HCMR in the Northern Aegean and the Ionian from June to October. The aim is to directly access the biomass and abundance of anchovy and sardine stocks. Now, the second important component of DCF focuses on socioeconomic data, with the first action being the collection of socioeconomic information on the fishing fleet. This is done by Agrari, the Institute in Athens. And let's see now, 18,000 people are involved in fishing, primarily in island and coastal areas. And this number has steadily declining in the recent years due to significant impacts of profitability, first of all, from COVID, the new energy crisis, the climate change, and like this, we also have phytoplankton blooms in Northern Aegean. That means participation is even lower. You can see also a little bit some information about the age of the fisheries, the education level, and men and women involved in fisheries. The final action of DCF is socioeconomic data regarding the aquaculture sector, which supports 12,000 direct and indirect jobs. The production in 2021 was 105,000 tons with a value of approximately 640 million. 8% of this is exported. And we have also processing, 184 companies, 53,000 tons of catches, 200 million and 2,300 people involved. However, this is very important for the country because it's only 20% exported. That underscores the traditional nature of this sector in the country. What we do with the data, the collected data are evaluated by the expert working groups and the Scientific, Technical and Economic Committee for Fisheries, STCF, that was mentioned before, and these evaluations are then made available to various end users such as ICAT, GFCM, and other working groups through data calls or determined dates and in a specific format that's requested by the end users. Thank you very much, and these are again our collaborators to whom we pay this, let's say, project collection of data. Thank you.